This morning, the deep freeze creating more hazardous conditions across the country as another storm moves in. The roof of this building in Arkansas collapsing under the heavy snow. In Tulsa, this semi-truck jackknifing in slick conditions, ending up facing the wrong way after a car tried to merge into its lane. In Colorado, one person was killed and several injured when a plow truck lost control, crashing into a van, sending it down an embankment. And in Mississippi, a truck driver was stranded in the conditions on this interstate for a second night.
I'm completely stuck. I ran completely out of fuel.
At least 85 deaths are now blamed on the extreme weather, most of them in the South, where more than 220,000 power outages are still reported 6 days after the storm. People here in Tennessee lining up for food. Farther north, emergency crews in Pittsburgh braving frigid waters to rescue a woman whose car drove into a river. In Philadelphia, this fight breaking out over a parking spot cleared of snow. One man was left in critical condition. Cars nearby are encased in ice after a pipe reportedly burst. That ice won't be melting anytime soon, as more than half the country faces brutal wind chills.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is speaking out for the first time since suggesting that Alex Preddy, the man shot by federal agents in Minneapolis, was a domestic terrorist. Noem told Fox News last night that things were chaotic last Saturday when she first received the news about the deadly shooting.
We were using the best information we had at the time, seeking to be transparent with the American people and get them what we knew to be true on the ground. So we will continue to follow the investigation that the FBI is leading and giving them all the information that they need to bring that to a conclusion. Clearly, there's a history there of attacking our law enforcement officers and our CBP and ICE officers, and that's an example of what our officers have had to face every single day.
Border Czar Tom Homan is suggesting a possible drawdown of federal agents in Minnesota if local officials cooperate with immigration authorities. And talks to avoid a partial government shutdown over Trump's immigration policy hit a snag overnight. Senators went home without voting on a government spending plan just hours after Democrats said they reached an agreement with the White House to separate Homeland Security funding so they can debate changes to immigration tactics. Talks resume today, and they have a deadline of midnight tonight to keep the government running.
President Trump has declared a national emergency over Cuba, accusing the communist government of forming alliances with hostile foreign powers.
In making that declaration, the president claimed the policies and practices of the Cuban government are an extraordinary threat to U.S. security, and he noted that Cuba's alliance with Russia, China, Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah, his new emergency order will impose tariffs on products sold by any country that provides oil to Cuba. And this move comes just weeks after Trump took over Venezuela's oil, which has been a critical lifeline for Cuba's economy for years. And Trump also spoke about his new threat to Iran, warning that time is running out to reach a nuclear deal and threatening a U.S. attack even worse than the one last summer. Now, the U.S. has been building up military assets in the region, but a senior official says the president hopes to settle things diplomatically.
New questions about the FBI raid in Georgia this week, targeting an election office and ballots from 2020. There's a new legal battle brewing.
This morning, officials in Fulton County, Georgia, say they're pursuing legal action after the FBI raided the county's election offices.
We're going to fight this in court with every resource that we have.
Agents with a search warrant seizing 700 boxes of materials Wednesday. President Trump has claimed for years that the 2020 election was stolen. Local officials, including Georgia's former Republican lieutenant governor, insist the election was fair and Joe Biden won.
We've spent nearly 6 years debunking every conspiracy theory. There's been not even a single page of proof that there's been any sort of fraud involved.
FBI Director Kash Patel says a federal judge determined there was probable cause to carry out Wednesday's raid, but he did not elaborate. A Georgia Republican noted the judge who determined probable cause was not appointed by Trump.